What do the Netflix shows Squid Game and Black Mirror both have in common? Well, they've both sent loud and clear warnings of the world that many of the people who are in power today want to see. And yes, I'm saying it, the mainstream media and China sellouts like Justin Trudeau and Joe Biden would love you to think that a social credit system isn't that bad of an idea. After all, it thinks that people are stupid and childish and that they need a moral compass in order to build back a more inclusive society. Or, like all New World Order proponents say, it's for the greater good. So is it time to start raising the alarm bells and state the obvious, that a social credit system is an execution tool for state propaganda, censorship, surveillance, and tracking? Or is it all conspiracy theories and fake news that deserves to be censored and shut down so that we can build a more transparent and a more inclusive society? Today on Renegade News, we'll discuss 5 myths that China, the MSM, and authoritarians everywhere would like you to believe, and the real truth behind their goals. So smash that subscribe and the notification buttons, and let's get right into it. Myth number 1, it's just in China. I'm starting with probably the most important rule, because this isn't just in China, and it isn't something that's just happening over there. China just happens to be the first rollout and the testing grounds because their citizens were already one step further beat into submission. But in Australia in 2019, the city of Darwin started using elements of the Chinese social credit system in Australia. They snuck them in innocuously in the switching on Darwin's plan for a smarter city. I mean, guys, let's connect the dots. We got to fast forward to August 25 of 2021 when the Australian federal government rammed a bill through both levels of parliament that gave the Australian Federal Police and the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission broad sweeping powers to disrupt service, to surveil and spy on large groups of citizens, and even to take over someone's social media accounts and their chat room accounts for anyone suspected of committing, being involved in, or having communication with anyone participating in what the government deems to be an offense. This bill notably shields individuals and companies who comply with the directives from civil liability while simultaneously punishing the uncooperative with a maximum of 10 years in prison. And this trend is not limited to Australia. In July, the United Kingdom announced its plans to roll out a government-backed reward program. And it would track spending and physical activity through a phone app and a data collection device such as the Fitbit. An article by The Guardian described the program in the following way. Lifestyle habits such as taking part in a regular run or walking to school daily could be linked to free treats in this pilot scheme. The scheme would then monitor family supermarket spending and reward those who reduce their calorie intake and buy more fruits and vegetables. But worse yet, and I think this is really pathetic to say, is that in a poll, a majority of the Brits said that they would stop associating with people who brought down their credit score. And of course, many countries are implementing or talking about implementing digital vaccine passport systems, and those are all part of a larger identification systems that are being predicted to lead to greater levels of surveillance and control. Plus, let's never forget how drama teacher Justin Trudeau admits that he admires China's basic dictatorship. Myth number 2, it's just like loyalty points. But if you don't get loyalty points, you're not going to lose your rights and your ability to just live a normal life. I mean, even Beijing Premier Li Keqiang said in a 2018 speech, those who lose credibility will find it hard to make a tiny step in society. Besides, who are we expected to be loyal to? Who grants the rewards? Well, the NWO world elites. Myth number 3. It's just an incentive for good behavior and has nothing to do with communism and government control. The proponents of this draconian system are going to tell you that it's just the same as other countries' credit ratings. And it's just tax evaders and criminals and other bad people who will be punished. Except its objective is moral reform based on what the government deems to be moral. It tracks and regulates behavior based on things like mass surveillance. And it scores people on credibility rating using incomplete, inaccurate, or not full picture data. And it forces this false narrative of things like rewards for praising the government on social media. Myth number 4, it's only invasive to your privacy if you have something to hide. People love to tell me that if you're on WhatsApp or you're on social media, there's no such thing as privacy left anymore. So I say, well, then get off WhatsApp and social media. because everybody has something to hide. In the US right now, there are so many laws that according to Harvey Silvergate, the average person commits an average of 3 felonies per day and doesn't even know it. So do you think that given the supercharged environment that we're living in right now, the powers that be wouldn't use one of those obscure rules against you if they wanted to get you off the street? But it really doesn't even have to be a felony. Maybe it's just a sexy text to your spouse telling them what you want to do to them when you get home. Maybe it's a private conversation with your lawyer or your accountant. Maybe you want to cheat on your diet just this one time. But whatever it is, it's not in everybody's needs to know about it. Myth number 5, it's just doing what the people want. Because everyone wants a better, more honest, more moral society, right? But look at how easily people called the police if they saw somebody walking without a mask or walking their dog after the curfew. Now imagine if you were being rewarded for this. The truth is, a system like this pits neighbors against neighbors and family against family. And your social credit score can be lowered if your friends or family with someone who does something that lowers their credit score. But then you can get those points back by ratting them out or by publicly shaming them. The world is becoming a scarier and scarier place all the time. Mass surveillance is no longer the nightmare of conspiracy theorists, but the real life systems that are being put in place today all over the world. This is happening already, and it's not happening years from now. So it's vital that we push back against this right now before it's too late. And remember, especially if you don't want this bullshit coming to a country near you, peaceful resistance is not futile. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click the link in the description and subscribe right now so that every week you get the inside scoop on the latest infringements and wins in your fight for more freedom and liberty in this unfree world. And if you enjoyed this edition of Renegade News, please hit the like and the share button. We would really appreciate it.